Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of Tait Talks. Today I'm speaking to my longtime good friend Matthew Wood. In this podcast episode we're going to be speaking about Matthew's gap year in the army, his plumbing that he's done for many years now, and his working visa in Canada with his fiancé Bridget, and his tricked out van that he decided to buy in Canada and travel around in Canada and the US. So without further ado, Matthew Wood, how are you?
G'day Toodles, it's an honour to be on here.
Thank you. That's what everyone says at the start.
What episode are we?
Episode 4.
4, that's not bad. Usually used to be in about 4th place in most things. So.
Yeah, it's just off the podium, so
yeah.
nothing bad can happen to you.
So yeah.
You tried, that's all that means.
Made it. Early days, but...
That's it. Alright, let's get straight into this. Because the episodes have been far too long so far. They've been about 2 hours each. So let's try to make this one a bit fucking shorter.
They've been 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
Talk a lot of shit, mate.
You haven't let me watch them, so I don't know.
No, none of them are actually out yet, so they might sound absolutely like shit. So it's a bit of a scary thing, but we'll see what happens when I unleash them to the world. Could get banned straight away. I said off the top, you did a gap year in the army. What started that? How old were you?
18, straight out of school. So they came...
High school.
I don't know if you remember, they came to Oberon.
I had already dropped out by then. I dropped out halfway through year 11 and started my plumbing apprenticeship, which I did for 2 years.
You were right on the way. They came to school and a bit of propaganda and whatnot and suckered a few of us in.
And you got in. Is it only you? Can you
from our school it was.
Yeah.
There was about 20 kids there, I think, but it was just me. I was the only one dumb enough to fall for it.
Did you ever think before that you wanted to do something like that? Or is it just literally the propaganda was just too strong and you were like...
It was more so the cash as well.
Yeah, I suppose,
yeah.
You are a bit of a...
money focused,
me.
Most people know that I'm pretty tight with me.
Yes,
money and 50 grand roughly, I think it might have been about 60, to an 18-year-old, that's
a lot of, that's a lot of wickedness, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of snap crackles.
Zombie chews. Zombie chews.
So that's appealing, to almost anyone when you're
that age. It is appealing to a certain degree, I get that, the money, but it's a different way of life though.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking brutal.
I found out pretty early that it wasn't a lifestyle that matched what I, liked, because it's you jump when they say jump, you do whatever they want you to do.
It's pretty brutal. I couldn't imagine myself doing it. My brother did some of that shit and told me about it, and it never seemed appealing at all for myself. But I was quite surprised when you said you were doing it, because you'd never obviously spoken about it.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it was just like, I'm doing my gap year, army gap year. It's just like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
Well, it's like, it was probably 2 weeks in.
Yep.
I knew a year was enough.
Okay.
I already was like calling home. I'm like, I'm so fucking sick of this shit.
Can you get out of it?
The first week, it's like there's like a clause and you can just pretty much pack up and leave. And it's, after about a week, it's really hard, so it's easy just to stick it out.
So you have to say like mental illness or...
Yeah, something like that.
Was mental illness even a thing? What year was this?
2010.
So coming up 10 years?
2011, because I didn't get in the first time.
Okay.
That's something worth mentioning. I left it too late, and I sort of butchered my interview, and the only thing they offered me was a cook.
Yeah.
So
what did you actually go in as?
Just like run-of-the-mill rifleman.
Okay.
So yeah, it was 2011.
Yeah.
I think.
So
a long time ago.
So you go to school, they come to school, they talk about how good it is, you're going to make this money, you think, that's something I might like to do. Then you actually look into it. What do? Do you apply online? Do you call anyone? Is it a hotline?
Like the ADF website.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago, so this is like really re-jogging my brain in. But
yeah.
It's like they've got all the different roles and not a whole lot of info. Like I was sort of still going in the dark a bit. Like I didn't know.
I suppose they wouldn't tell you everything.
No,
because they don't want you to know.
You see those ads on TV where it's got like a...
It's like an coke up a stripper's tits.
Yeah, but it's like an Army Reserve ad, and you've got like a guy jumping out of a bushmaster with a javelin on his shoulder. That's like $1 million a shot. They're not giving that to no reservists. Like,
true.
And that's the thing that suckered me and that sort of stuff. And so like you research your role online.
Yeah.
Then you apply to just like the generic application process.
Is that long?
No, not really.
It's just a couple of...
Just general information.
Do they just want to know more like physical and mental stuff? Like
that
you can do it, but you're not gonna shoot everyone.
Well, that's when you go in for an actual interview.
Okay.
I was just sort of like pre-application.
So they do like a psych test or something.
Yeah, they do a psych test. That was pretty weird. They ask you like, you're standing on the edge of a building, tall building. What would your urges tell you to do?
Spit.
Yeah, something like that. Like, they're like, would you jump and like all this?
No, mate, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, and it's interesting to like what your answers, what that leads them. You know, what
to
that,
think.
what's
whatever
the process.
The thing. Yes, if you say yes 3 times.
So you got to
flight risk or something like that. Yeah.
So you got to be careful with what you say because it might
jeopardize.
Yeah, and you don't know because you're not.
Yeah, it's true. If you're just honest. Like everyone has those thoughts. Maybe it's just me, but if you are on top of a building, you kind of think to yourself for 2 seconds, like, I wonder what would happen, like if you just felt like what the sensation would be like. Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm gonna fucking jump. It's a bit different. You know what I mean?
And then the next bit was a physical. So you strip down in front of I had a bloke, so that wasn't probably better than a chick, just in case you know. She's hot.
So what does she actually? What does the person do?
You do like push-ups in front of them.
In your
jumping,
jocks?
Yeah, in your jocks. Then jumping jacks.
Do
like
suck
2.
him off.
That was the third.
Yeah.
Did that, and then had to strip down fully.
Yeah.
Checked. He parted my cheeks.
Of your butt. Yeah.
Think for hemorrhoids.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
he's like, I don't work here.
Yeah. And then grabbed me agates.
Okay, your ball bag.
Probably for testicular cancer or his own pleasures. I'm not sure.
Is that written in the
No,
thing?
I didn't know that.
Now, when you finally got through everything.
Yeah.
Did you chat to the boys when like, how weird was it when they like spread your butt?
Yeah, some guys didn't do that. So I think
you're like, whoa, this only happened to me.
The best part was
you got me too.
The best part was because that day went for about 9 hours.
Yeah,
from
so
getting there, you'd sit there. So there's about 3 stages, and you'd sit in the foyer for like 3 hours at a time, just staring at the
probably
wall.
Part of it.
Yeah,
it's probably some sort of psychological test to see if you break from that you're not really cut out for the rigors of army life.
Yeah, well, that's it. And so you sort of start talking to the other blokes.
Yeah.
And when they come out of that physical, you just like look at them and give them a little smile.
See who's butt.
Yeah, and
whose dick's hard or something. Yeah.
Tucked it into their belt, and you could just be like, "Did you get that?" And they're like, "Yeah." So
hey, fingered me. Hey, do you fuck you too?
So that was an experience. And then
that's different. That's what were you, 19?
18, yeah.
18, okay.
And so that's not something I'm very used to, but
I had a doctor play with my balls once. Because I thought I just paid him. No,
having a fondle.
Yeah, he was a rat. Dr. Dre. And no, I thought I had testicular cancer, and I had like a lump, and I went in there, and I was just like telling the person like real sheepish, the doctor, what was going on, and they were like, oh yeah, just pull your pants down. And I laid on the thing, and he's fondling my balls. And I'm like, this isn't so bad. And then he's like, I don't think you've got testicular cancer. I was pretty worried. Like, I was only like 21 or something.
Must have been if you went in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was hurting a bit. And I was like, I don't know. And it was definitely a bit of a lump there or something. So he was like, I think you got a swollen epididymis. I don't know how I've always remembered this. 9 years ago. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, we'll go into lake imaging, which is like ultrasound fucking joint in town. Another chick fucking this time, she wasn't that bad looking. She like gets like so much lube and puts it on my balls, and then she's got like a little ultrasound thing which is quite hot.
Yeah,
right.
I
didn't know. And she was like, I'm like, why do you have to put so much lube on it? She was like, I don't want to burn your eggs. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was kind of weird, but then it all came back clear. And the reason I found out I was clear is the doctor sent me an SMS, a text message saying, like, you're cancer-free, champ, fucking good on you. Like, it was the most laid back.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I still had the text, but it was like, I can't remember the fucking dude's name, like Dr. Brown or some fucking shit. And he was just like, no cancer, you're all good. Or something like that laid back in the text message. I was just like,
most of the time they'd call you and have a chat and talk about the results and all this shit.
This fucking dude, I'm wasting my time.
Probably good that, he wasn't worried at all, that it was just like, this cunt's just
true. But
wasting my time.
I had to go into the chemist in Torquay and I had to get some, like, pretty strong, what's it called? Like, when you got fucking...
painkillers?
Yeah.
And
ibuprofen.
Yeah.
So, to get the swelling down. And I was like, okay. So, I went into the doctor, like, into the pharmacist, and there was a chick, like, my age, super hot. She's like, do you need any help? And I'm like, I'm just going to get some ibuprofen. And obviously, there's a million different types. And she's like, oh, what's wrong with you? And in my head, I'm like, do I tell her my balls are swollen up? Or like, I'm like, oh, I sprained my ankle. Then I had to put on a limp. So, I think she gave me the right shit. It went down. It was all good. But very strange experience. So,
I didn't even know you had that. So
it's not something I tell a lot of people.
Now the whole world knows.
Yeah, it's true. I just wait for the special moments. I've always thought about doing it stand up and writing it some way, but I'm too lazy. But yeah, that was my experience with my a dude fondling my ball sack.
And we're going to get to the age where it's prostate exams, so...
True, 30 next month.
Going to have to get used to that sort of thing, but...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're... Like, it's not something that I want to do, but at the same time, like, I'm not scared of it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm going to be like, I'm gay now.
I'm not,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, like, once the doctor fingered my asshole, I knew I was gay. You know, it's not that type of fucking thing. I think I would know.
It's just something, it's not something you go out of your way to do. So.
I mean, you get bored, finger your ass.
Here it's a pleasure. But
your G-spot's in there, apparently, so...
The male G-spot, I didn't know that.
Well, your fiancé here is
I'll
sitting in the corner, so maybe later tonight. But anyway, off topic. So you've got your balls fondled, you've made eye contact with the other fuckers, you've gone through some of the paperwork, then what's the next stage?
You get interviewed by... I can't remember, it might have been a major or a lieutenant or something.
Yeah.
And he just asks you generic questions about the job. It's pretty much making sure you're hooked up with the job, which I didn't do the first time. This is all the second time.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to do that again, so I was all over it.
Yeah.
And then they just say, we recommend you for this job. And then you wait. I might have waited a month or two.
Yeah. And
then you get like a letter saying, you're in. And they give you a date.
But if you get that letter, can you say, like, no, I don't want to do it anymore, I found a job?
I'm
or
not
is it
sure.
like
I still had to do some of the physical stuff, like you run the beep test. It's like, I think it was about 5.5 or something, so it's like...
It's pretty much walking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And there was people there that were like full struggling. And
there always people.
And like, I think maybe about 30 push-ups back then.
Yeah.
I don't think they do push-ups anymore, because it's, that sort of world now. But so you get through that, you get your date, and then you head off.
Where do you go?
You go up
so we're from Victoria, so where do you...
it was Swanston Street, I think.
Melbourne.
That's where they do the interviews and everything. And then there's just a bus rocks up.
Yeah.
Mum's there, Dad's there, Mum's crying, Dad's just like, oh, see you later, I'm going to go.
Yeah,
he doesn't give
see when you want to be a plumber.
Yeah, that's it.
I swear you in.
See you in a year. Oh yeah, they swear you in, you go like that.
Oh really?
So there's all the family in there for that.
Yeah.
Mum's there crying and like, shit, I'll be back in like a year.
So I'm not going to fucking war.
Yeah.
Justine, settle down.
Yeah, they're not going to let me do anything too crazy.
Yeah. You're the bottom of the fucking...
So you
peel on potatoes if you had to go into it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And you get sworn in.
Yep.
Then that's
in Melbourne.
Yeah, hop on the bus.
Yeah.
Pretty nervous at that point. Don't know anyone, on your own essentially. And then they bus you up to Wagga. So that's a good 6 hours.
What? Still Victoria?
No, that's New South.
Wales? Must
like
be just
2 hours into New South Wales.
Okay.
Because that's where Kapooka is.
Okay.
And that's like the Army's base training.
Yeah.
So every
everyone
Army,
goes there.
I think the Air Force training is there. not at that base. It's like another base nearby, and then maybe somewhere else. But yeah, every army recruit will go through there, and that's
it
when
must be very busy.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
And you get off the bus there, and they just start screaming at you.
It's like jail, like see the movies when and they're just rolling into like jail on a bus by themselves, and then they get out, some fucking dude's like, listen, maggot.
Pretty much, you get off the bus, there was a guy standing there yelling at you.
Yeah.
Get your fucking bags! And you're like,
fucking.
And then you stand in
line. It was better when they were in my house.
It turns quickly. Like even the guy, we had a chaperone sort of thing, like an army guy who made sure, and he kept every time we stopped, he's like, "This is if you want to run now, because after once we get there, that's you're in." And I was like, "Don't tempt me, because you're not making it sound too good." But like he was yelling at us a bit, but it really started once he got off the bus.
And you're just like, So do you get anything like? Any manual or anything like some reading shit? They like refer to fucking people as sir or lieutenant or chieftain. Or
I think I called someone mate.
Well, cunt!
Yeah, I got
what?
Absolutely destroyed.
Yeah,
that was the second day I think, and he just
mate, I'm not your fucking
pretty much. Yeah, you just go up to him. We're getting haircuts, all getting buzz cuts, and I say, "Hey mate, where do I go for this?" And he said, I'm not your fucking mate, recruit. Like, I am a sergeant.
Well, haven't got to know me yet.
Bit offended, but so that's.
I'm the Homer Simpson. I like you.
But it's quite the change of tone.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, how often, as an adult now, I would go probably years without getting legitimately yelled at. You know what I mean? Like, it might just be like someone saying something tiny to you, like, oh, get out of the way, or fucking whatever. But no one ever destroys you outside, because you can't even yell at people at jobs.
No.
Unless you work with, like, I know you've worked with your fucking old man and stuff like that. It's a bit different in the trade industry. But a lot of other jobs, it's like, he yelled at me, and they're like, why'd you yell at him? He did this, and then that person gets yelled at,
Well, they get fired. Like, especially now, everyone's being held accountable to everything they do.
And you can just put any... He yelled at me so much, I got fucking PTSD or something like that. Like, it's crazy.
There's a lot of snowflakes getting around there.
Oh, he said it, ladies and gentlemen.
Controversial.
Yeah. But, it's true. There is a lot, like... I always saw back in the day when, like, my dad and stuff was calling me fucking whatever, and I'd be like, ooh, Jesus. Can't say that. No. And then, like, now it's just like, fuck. Like, it's completely, like... Can't even say a colour with, like, a fucking swear word after it.
No, it's...
Like, look at that fucking rainbow. People are like, it's racist to everyone. Like, it's fucked.
Got to dance around it, mate.
It's true, but you got to change with everything, though. They say,
but it's not like it's not for the better. So.
It's true. It's true. Like, a lot of people who want to keep the same shit are just like, yeah, you're a scumbag.
Yeah.
Like, you just wanted to say racist shit.
The world's moving on and you're not. Like, get up with the
But still, some things are pretty, like, to not be able to, like, call someone a fuckwit. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty... But for me, I've always had pretty thick skin, so you call me a fuckwit, I think it's either funny or, like, sorry. Whereas someone would, like, he bullied me. Like,
well, you notice that in our friend circle. Pretty much say whatever you want and it just rolls off the...
Yeah, but we're pieces of shit.
Yeah, and we're used to that stuff. But if you say that to someone out, not in your friend circle, they'd be like, excuse me? Like,
getting drunk in the pub and then someone comes over and you're like, was that a fuckwit? And you're like, what? I'm not a fuckwit.
Yeah, that's it. Take it to heart. But
it's true. That is, and it's like bullying. Bullying is what you're offended by. You know what I mean? Well, but the army would be interesting because they've always had it as yelling, derogatory, being fucking psychopaths. Yeah. How do they go now?
I would be, I was going to say I'd be very interested to go through that system
more women now.
Yeah, we had maybe a sixth of our platoon was women.
Yeah.
It'd have to be at least.
Your fucking maths.
Carry the one. There wasn't many.
Yeah.
But now there'd be at least 3 times as many as what we... Yeah. But, like, I'd be interested to see...
how they go around,
But, like, can the instructors even really yell anymore?
I feel like it's the industry where you could still do it. I feel like it's just like you potentially could get fucking shot.
Yeah, well, that's it.
If a little bit of yelling hurts you, you're not going to the fucking army. But it's depending what they say. If it's like real, like you pull out some chick and you fucking start saying like fucking flat-chested fucking bitch or something like whatever it is. They'd be like, oh.
They would attack the like our personal attributes.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Like the girls, they'd comment on their chests and
little titty bitch.
And you'd just be like, ooh, I'm not saying that because
suck on that, Sharon.
And there's no accountability for them.
Yeah,
because no one's going to believe what we say, or no one gives a shit what recruits are saying.
Yeah.
So they can pretty much do what they want, but now it might be different. It'll be interesting.
What's it, sensitivity training and stuff like that? Yeah, it'd be very interesting. Anyway.
But yes, that first day was quite.
Oh yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, it gets
so welcome to prison.
It takes about 2 weeks to sort of work out. It's all an act, is like no one wants to be constantly yelling. Like they'd go home at night and their voices would be
husky, hoarse, as they say.
But like, so you realise it's an act. It's all a big game.
Yeah.
And you just sort of try and fly under the radar a bit and just.
You don't want to be. I feel like in that situation, you just never want to be like the guy that they always know. You know what I mean? Like if once they get your name and they know it's fucking.
They beat it into the ground.
Yeah, like every time you're the patsy.
They call it, the term is a grey man. Be a grey man.
So
you're not at the bottom, so you're not causing trouble, and you're not at the top. The standout, and everyone's like, look at this bloke. He's doing this and that.
Can't help it.
Yeah, I naturally
can't help it being at the bottom.
I'm naturally a grey man, so it's just fits my personality.
Number 4, as you said. Yeah, 4.
So if you do that, I sort of just breezed through, got yelled at a few times.
Yep.
It's pretty like, that sort of sets you up for life though, doing that. Makes any other job seem pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a lot of that type of stuff, it's weirdly. Like I think I've said on here before, but like doing stand-up, like when you get nervous about talking to someone on the phone or whatever it may be, and there's this dumb shit in your brain, you're like, I've done stand-up in front of 200 people. Like, they're strangers and you had to give, like, you tried to make these fuckers laugh. You literally just ringing up someone and be like, hey, you got any work? You know what I mean? It's very, very strange.
I'm like that,
Yeah. But as you said, it's good if you can reflect back on that and be like, I got yelled at for like a year straight.
Yeah, and relate that to plumbing. Like, I'm digging a hole all day. I'm like, well, at least I'm not, I haven't been awake for 48 hours and I'm, digging a hole with... a pickaxe, you just always compare it to that, and at least I'm not back there doing something. It's like, once you move on from that initial stage, that's when it gets pretty grueling. That's when you go to everyone fans off to their specific training bases for
So do you make friends? Like, what's the living arrangements like?
4 or 5 blokes to a room.
So it's like a little
bunk beds,
hostel type thing.
Yeah.
Is it just filthy?
It is. Yeah, it's pretty. You got to get lucky with who you're in with.
It's like a hostel.
If you're with grotty people, like some blokes, you got to get the poison out, and there's nowhere to do that. So you'd be like, the person literally across from you would be
staring in your eyes.
That's when you'd roll over and face the other way. So it's like shit like that, and blokes.
Stop sneezing on me.
Blokes generally stink. So
true.
So that wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
But that was like about half the year. It was bunk beds and stuff like that. All through training,
Yeah.
You're almost subhuman, sort of, with the setups they have you in.
I mean, they can't make it flashy because potentially if you were going to fucking war, you're not going to be...
Well, that's the thing.
It's like, we got our fucking own rooms. Like, you're in the desert, mate. You're in fucking fighting whoever.
I found it funny that they were sort of starting to go a bit PC when I was there because they had this system that it was too hot, you couldn't go outside and do things.
Really?
And it came down to like the humidity and it's like the feels like thing.
So it's like a union fucking...
Yeah. And if it got to this certain rating...
Bikies come out, they're like, it's fucking working.
CFMEU comes up and kicks them in the arse. But like, so we couldn't go outside. It's like, well, most of the wars that have been going on, it never gets below 40 degrees during the day. So we'll just sit inside.
We fight at night.
Yeah, Taliban will come out at night.
Yeah.
We'll fight them then. So that was pretty fun, like interesting.
Yeah.
They drew the line there. But emotional abuse was still on the cards.
So they never hit you?
Nah.
It's just more like, do they get right in your face and you're like, listen here, maggot?
spitting in your mouth and, you know...
Yeah.
not intentionally, but, you know, a bit of spray, but...
when you ask them.
The physical abuse was a thing.
Yeah, sure.
They got phased out before I got there. So it was kind of...
That's nice.
Yeah. It's not something you need, you know, a few hidden bruises.
It's true. It'd be like going from, like, plumbers, like, or apprentices back in the day, where they had their bosses that could say anything, do anything, fucking belt them over the head, whatever, and then, like, everything changes for the better. Could you imagine being, like, an apprentice and your boss was like, you piece of fucking shit, or
just
like fucking smacking you or something?
Yeah, or like...
Stab them.
If people got into the trades now and it was still that way, no one would continue.
Like, why are you getting paid that fucking...
Yeah, why am I getting paid $10 an hour to get abused and, you know, no one should have to do that.
No, it would fucking be...
No.
Absolutely. And you get paid fuck all. $6.11 was my first year.
I think I don't know what it is now. It might be about 10 for a first year.
$6.11. $256 a week with like all the little allowances, tool allowance, fuel, all that type of bullshit. That is brutal for a 40-hour work week when you're like 17. It's $6.11 an hour.
$2.50. So it was after tax. $2.50.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Like there was a couple of little allowances that shot it up. You know, I think it's under $2, whatever it is, under $2.56 or whatever it was. I just had $2.56 burnt in my head for some stupid reason. But
you've seen that number for a whole year.
Oh man!
Might go back to Oberon and finish school.
What are these guys doing?
Yeah,
I'm going in the army. Fuck that.
I was probably earning more at IGA.
You would have been, without a doubt. Yeah, you would have been earning more at IGAs.
And that's the fuck thing that you're learning.
So mature age apprentices now get a bit of money, but I think it's better off for a boss to have someone who's not a spastic at the start.
Yeah, well, that's the thing you notice going through trade school is the older people are generally better.
Well, and they want to do it as well. Like the reason that they are doing it is because they're like, I fucking hate this job that I'm doing now. I want to do something else. And you usually got their car licenses. They're not doing dumb shit. They're not going out, weeknights before work starts and shit like that. So it is one of those ones where like it makes sense in my head, but you got to get the right one. Some doesn't mean because you're older you're better.
Yeah,
like, you get some whiz kid young apprentices, and then you get some shit fucking older ones.
Yeah, like
can't say I'd be a great apprentice and I'm only 30. You know,
it's just like people or kids aren't generally as good with their hands anymore. Cause
true.
What are they? You know, most
they don't even finger anymore.
Yeah, it's just they got no idea
what they're doing.
Arse eating season. I think that's coming around. Check the calendar.
I wonder if they're still doing the fucking what the medical stuff is for the
Yeah, I wonder where they've pivoted to. I wonder what they're doing there.
Probably like someone decided to say it was too intrusive or something like that, and they've had to
They'd only take a few complaints,
and then or telling, that happens that you get some complaints, and then someone lets it known to the public, and then the public like, what the fuck are you doing that? It's disgusting. You don't have to do that to like young kids and blah blah blah. So like, and then they just backtrack.
Bit of fake outrage, and then it's enough to.
You're not getting fingered anymore. No one's staring at your butt.
Good times are over, I guess. But they can't last forever.
Yeah, you don't want to be in there. Alright, so you've done your training.
Basic, yeah. Went to the next joint. That's when you get to play with all the guns. That was Singleton, which is like middle of nowhere, New South Wales.
Okay, yeah.
Like 2 hours inland.
How long was the training? Sorry,
they were both 80. That was 80 days, I believe.
And that was hard.
Kapuka was more mental, not physical. The most you'd run was like 3K. Yeah. Now that's a lot for me, but when I was 18, you
what is the daily routine of like Kapuka though?
They would get you. Have the bugle go off.
Yeah.
Might have been 5:30, 6 o'clock. It was dark, so it was pretty early. You'd have to take off the bed sheet. Your bed sheets, put them on your shoulder, run out to the hallway. You'd line up on the hallway.
Yeah.
First one would scream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I think I was about 50. I was at the end because Wood, W.
Is that to wake you up or?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just routine.
Yeah, just a thing they do. Get you a bit angry in the morning, because you had to scream at red face, so sort of.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was not just like 1. It was I would do it because the needles would jump, but yeah. But it was like I think it's to wake you up a bit. Then you had 8 minutes to get changed. No showers are in the afternoon, so it was no showers. It was just shave. You had to shave every morning.
Yeah.
Which was,
you would have been 5.
Well, yeah, I was 18. I barely had 2 whiskers, so that was fine.
There
I was
you
just
got
like,
5.
Yeah, growing up, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so, alright, so
you got 8 minutes to do everything. Make your bed.
Yeah.
Get dressed. Do all that shit. And then you'd have to run outside, get lined up, and then you'd go down to eat.
Yep.
And you had maybe 10, 15 minutes to eat.
Yeah.
Good food. They had like
food?
a huge, like a buffet pretty much.
Yeah.
Just like bacon, eggs, you know, hash browns, sausages.
But if you were doing your physical exercise,
you had to be tactical.
Yeah.
You know, you just have like cereal or something.
Spoon your guts out.
And then you'd jump into like PT, which was, you know, could be running, could be an obstacle course, swimming. Almost drowned multiple times swimming because I'm about as buoyant as a brick.
Yeah.
So that was quite traumatising. And then you just, throughout the day, you just have various lessons on, you know, gun maintenance.
Tests?
Yeah, there's a few tests. They weren't very hard there. And you just...
Which end did the bullets come?
Yeah, don't look down the rifle. And it was just, like, you'd have classes that taught you about the rank. So that was where they, like you were saying, did they give you a handout? That was where they started teaching you all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, once you moved on.
So you can pretty much go in their culture, like, you just don't know nothing.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Other than a little bit about my role, what I was going to be doing.
And not to call people mate.
Yeah, that learnt that the hard way.
Yeah.
So they teach you all that stuff, basic skills.
Yeah.
And I think the main purpose of that place is to break you.
Yeah. Okay.
And break you and then build you back up to what they want.
Yeah.
Because they all want the same, you know, they have this prototypical soldier that they want.
Yeah.
And they're trying to mould you into that image and make you be a tool that, you know, a good tool for them.
Yeah.
You know?
You're there to like, do a service. Yeah.
And like, I think one of the sergeants told me that it costs about $100K for them to train and kit out and all the time they put into a single recruit.
Well, that's why I've heard the apprenticeships in the army are 6 years instead of 4 because the added shit that they have to do, they're like, fuck it, we're not letting them go in 4 years. Get another fucking 2 out of 6 years apprenticeships, aren't they?
Yeah, and I looked into that because I'd already done a bit of plumbing, so I knew I liked it. And it was 6 years. Like,
yeah, it's a long.
That's like a year was a long
Especially
time.
when you're 18.
Yeah.
You know, 1/3 of your life.
It's a fair chunk just to be chopped out, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you don't, you can't. It's really hard to get out of. So you know, you're sort of stuck there.
Snapping your own legs or something. And they'll probably just wait for you to be better.
You just sit in the hospital and get better and back to hating life again. But
yeah, I don't think you would have I think it'd be very hard to get out. It's probably easier to get out now if you say the right words. You know what I mean? PTSD,
psychological stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mum got Darcy.
Yeah. So little brother went in.
Yeah.
And mum pretty much plucked him out somehow. I'm not really sure how she did that. Just getting that from the crowd. Yeah. So you know he went in, didn't you?
Yeah, I did know that. I didn't know that she had.
And she had a fair hand in getting him out because he was real early though.
She was like, "I'm gonna take him out. Yeah. He's not cut out for it, my boy."
Yeah.
And like you, she was like, "Nah, let him suffer.
Yeah.
He can't swim. Chuck him in the pool."
But it's psychological is probably the best way to get out. But
yeah, I think that is. Really I think if you can pretty much mental illness and that type of stuff, I feel like you can really.
That's not a card you want to play though.
I would play it. I play it now. Like, why are you standing so close to me at the supermarket? I'm like, I have mental illness.
And no one can question that.
Yeah,
so
like, okay, you can go before me. Yeah. Like, give me those Tim Tams as well.
Double choc or caramel?
I go caramel these days.
Caramel's pretty good, but I don't mind some double choc.
Double choc's, it's not a bad morsel. Anyway, back to fucking... So you get your brother's been taken out, so you have to say pretty much the first week so that time you can get out.
Yeah, so basic training, break you down, build you up, then move you on.
Now you're doing the guns.
Back onto the guns. They do a little bit of that at basic training.
Yeah.
But it's like very basic.
What's basic training?
It's all in the title.
Yeah.
But then you go to, I went to Singleton, shithole.
Yeah.
And then that's when they really start.
How far out of, so it's New South Wales?
Yeah, so Newcastle.
So how far is that from like Sydney?
It was maybe 3 or 4 hours on the train. Yeah. About that, maybe 3. We went down to Sydney a couple of times.
Yeah.
It was a long trip. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's mine. There's mines.
Is that where
around.
you met Bridget, your fiancée?
That was Canberra.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we'll
get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, okay.
And that's like Singleton's just specific for riflemen.
Yep.
Infantry. So that gets really physical there. That was probably 30% mental.
Yeah.
And 70% physical. Like that was real.
Like digging holes and shit.
Yeah, like we dug holes where you could, up to your head height.
Yeah.
With a pickaxe that was.
How long would that take?
That took 2 days, and they purposely put you on land that had previously been mined, so it was full of boulders and rocks. Really? So you were just chipping away like old convicts, chipping away at rocks for 2-3 days to dig a hole that you could.
So that's another mental thing.
Yeah,
so it's just purely
sleep deprivation.
Yeah, and physical. Sorry.
Yeah,
very physical.
2 or 3.
Digging's fucked.
2 or 3 days you couldn't sleep.
Do you have gloves? You don't have gloves, though, shoot.
Nah.
Your hands are fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once they callus up, they're all right. But yeah, first stage.
Getting that poison out. You see.
Yeah, it's all about the poison.
Yeah.
But and they wouldn't let you sleep at night. They'd have people out in the bushes and they'd shoot at you. And, you'd have to stand to and pretend there was someone there and you were fighting someone.
What? Get out of here, motherfucker!
Trying to sleep, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But so 2, 3, 4 times a night you'd have to do that.
Fuck.
Kills your sleep patterns.
And that's just when you dig in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
so it's like a big fiasco. For
2-3 weeks, and of doing that.
Yeah.
You'd have maybe we did 3 different field exercises.
Yeah.
Mine had rained the whole time.
Awesome.
We were sleeping in water, ankle deep water.
Sounds
not
great.
Dry for 2 weeks is something. It's hard to describe. It's pretty. You don't get more miserable than that.
No, that's very.
We're down in the dumps.
Yeah.
Like we would to get warm. We would take our clothes off and just walk around in our undies, and you felt warmer.
And we'd jerk each other out.
You know it. But that's I think that might be early onset of hypothermia. So we were probably
going the wrong way, or is it you're supposed to do that? Get out of your wet clothes, or not?
Well, I think that's a sign if you're getting warm from declothing. That's
okay. It's like when you play footy and it's pissing down raining, but you put your hand under the sink
and it stings like a bitch.
And you'd be like, it's warm though. It's just cold water, but it's warm. That's because your body's tired. Okay, so you did that. You did.
Yeah. So that was a couple of field exercises.
Yeah.
That was another 80 days.
Yeah.
It was 80 working days. So we got the weekends off there.
Oh.
So we're like, fuck yeah, it's only 80 days. They tell you it's 80 working days. So what's that about? 14 weeks or something? Something like that. Yeah. Doing that in my head quickly. It's very wrong. But 16. There you go.
16 from the crowd.
From the audience. Thank you. And yeah, that was a ramp up on the previous stuff.
Yeah.
And lots of pool sessions. They'd send you in fully clothed in your cams. So full length shirt, full length pants.
Boots?
No boots.
Because they just don't want to.
Almost drowned.
Don't want to replace them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. They're expensive. But almost drowned multiple times.
You got treading water or something.
Treading water, you had to take off your shirt, put it back on. Yeah.
In the water?
In the water.
Why?
Because it's hard.
Yeah, okay.
And I seemed like I was one of very few that found it hard.
Really?
And then do it with your pants too. So you put your shirt back on, then do it with your pants. Very hard. Yeah. I don't know how you tread water without moving your feet, but apparently,
true.
And you're trying to use your arms to put your pants back on. I had a guy literally hold me up. He was a lifeguard. So he literally held me up whilst I put my stuff. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done. And yeah.
What would happen if you reckon you got to the side of the pool and you were just like dying, you couldn't do it anymore? Would they be like, get back out there?
Our instructor was a boxer in the English Army. Okay. He was like a boxing champion.
Yeah.
He was picture Brock Lesnar, that sort of size. Yeah. So he's pretty intimidating. And he would just unleash on you.
Yeah.
But I found the secret to avoiding the pool sessions. One guy had gastro one day, wouldn't let him in the pool.
Okay.
I used that card multiple times. I got the shits.
Would he not figure it out? Nah.
I used that twice, and then I said I had severe cramps the other time. You know?
Hello, my period.
Stomach cramps.
Yeah.
Got me out of it.
Yeah, that's what fair enough. What you got to do. So you survive lying.
Yep.
Lying is how you survive.
Get through life by lying.
Yeah.
You've got to do it somehow, but...
So you did that. What would you do on the weekend?
You'd go to Newcastle.
Yep.
Most people are heavy drinkers in the army, gamblers, so we just go out and get beer.
Casino?
I don't know, there's one in Newcastle. We never went there. We just go there and go to the clubs and make fools of ourselves.
Yeah.
Just blow like all of our money, and then just go back to base and just get treated like shit again. It was a vicious cycle for 16 weeks, and then
it's like being in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you just hated life so much, you just wanted to get out and just do something.
Yeah, I could see that. Your relief is going out to a fucking nightclub.
And like,
Jesus.
Don't go to Newcastle. It's not the most glamorous of places.
Oh, it wasn't high on my list.
No, it's very working class, and there's not much going on there. So.
But army boys are popular, aren't they?
Yeah.
What was it? The girls like the army boys?
Same girls. So, you know, a
So
lot of guys would go through
one platoon would go through one.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of love.
Mm. And there was miners around that area.
Poison sucker.
Yeah. You're going to use that term now, poison, aren't you? So there was lots of miners in that area.
Yeah.
So they'd compete with the army guys. And it was always...
At least the fucking miners would have money.
Mm.
You know.
We didn't really, comparatively to them, you know what they're on.
Jack shit.
But yeah. Once you leave there, that's when you're a proper like soldier. That's when you've got all the skills. Like we shot like machine guns, claymores, grenades, rocket launchers, that sort of stuff. So that's when you probably can consider yourself an actual soldier there.
Yeah. You feel like you're a lean, mean killing machine.
Pretty much. You kill innocent civilians wherever you go.
Yeah. I could dig the shit out of the hole.
Oh yeah.
Wait until they give me a real shovel.
Give me 2 days and I'm all over it. But and then we moved on. So that was about half the year gone.
Yeah.
Moved on to Canberra, and that was like, they had nothing, because we were just gap years. We had 6 months. They just gave
Canberra, Duntroon.
Duntroon, so that's where the officers train.
Yeah. What are you doing there? Just chilling.
Well, they need, you know how I was saying there'd be enemy in the bushes?
Oh, that's you.
We did that. We're just the shit kickers. You go out bush, you just sit around for like days.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, they'd call you up on a cell phone. None of this radio business. And they'd be like, need you here. And they'd just march.
Jump in the fucking bushes.
Yeah, and you just shoot at them.
Take your pants off too.
Yeah. How'd you know? Were you there?
Yeah, that's me calling.
I thought it was an odd command. Never question it when it comes from the higher up.
Gastro. Okay. Alright, so you've done that, you're in Duntroon, you're chilling out. How long do you have left?
6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you 6 months
maybe 4 or 5 months.
6 months are pretty much chilling.
Pretty
compared
much.
to the
it's a nice change. You just sit around, you do PT in the morning, which normally was like a little run, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
You come back, report to them.
Is it still the same get up, like 5:30 up?
This was like 7:30ish.
Oh, really?
It was more so, this was closer to a real sort of job, sort of the same hours.
Yeah.
With a bit of like, yelling mixed in.
So do you finish at like 4:35 and then you're like, peace out,
out,
and then you can go into Canberra and
start drinking
go to the
again.
fucking war
museum. They were all
shit
alcoholics still, so everyone just went out clubbing, pretty much.
And then you met your fiancé Bridget.
Yeah, clubbing, you know how it is. Busting the moves and just
Air
reeling them
Force
in.
Ones.
Yeah, rocking the Air Force Ones and the skinny jeans. And
you lured her in.
Couldn't be any different now than what I was then. But and just spent that time there doing not a whole lot, just gymming and shooting hoop. We played basketball a lot and just chilled out. So it was a nice change, sort of made up for all that shit.
Yeah.
We
So that's the good part. At least that's 6 months as well.
Yeah, it was a fair old stint, just sitting around. Some days you would do they had nothing for you. So they were, all right, you had 3 PTs.
Okay. Would you just have it like morning, lunch?
And they'd just be like, go.
Was it PT a gym session as well, like scoping the guns, or?
Yeah, so they had a real good gym there. So we'd just sit in the gym and they'd be like, come back in 2 hours. We don't want to see you. So you go back to your room and just do nothing, have a nap.
What was the accommodation like? Was it still
single bedrooms.
Yeah.
3-bedroom like apartments. They were on base. They were real small, like.
But you had your own bedroom?
Yeah, own bedroom.
Okay, that's alright.
And 3 other blokes. 2 other blokes, sorry.
Yeah.
So that wasn't too bad. You had your own kitchen and stuff.
Yeah.
Still had a mess, so they would feed you. You didn't have to pay for food or anything. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. So that was good. And yeah, it was pretty crazy. We just fucked around mostly.
And then do you do like a what's it called, like at the end, do you do like a fucking
exit interview sort of thing?
Yeah, like, or is there any type of like ceremony to be like, you don't pass it?
Maybe with 2 months to go, they ask you what your intentions are.
Oh, if you want to keep going.
Yeah, they're constantly like, they asking you, you know, they're sort
because they give you more money, don't they? Give you like a sign.
Yeah, I don't know, not sure. But they're gauging what you want to do, and I was just like, no. They try and convince you.
I'd leave fucking right now.
Yeah, if I could, I would be gone. And I was like, no, I'm gone. And you just sign some paperwork, and they give you a certificate. Yeah. That's about the thanks you get, you know, certificate. And then you just go on.
Well, it's not like you fucking were killing.
No, I know.
Anyway, you're just fucking standing there jerking off.
Yeah, it's not like thank you for your service. You know, nor should it really be.
Yeah.
Not, like you said, we didn't really do anything. To contribute to that, you know.
I wonder what they get out of you, though.
Well,
like, realistically, because they feed you, they pay you, they do all this stuff. The percentages of you actually signing on are pretty slim. But maybe that they've worked out that we only have to get like 2 or 3 people per platoon to make it worthwhile. Yeah,
well, I probably was decent mates with 15 or 16 blokes at Canberra. 2 of them stayed on, so it's like best strike rate. And they're putting a lot of money and time into us. So I don't know.
It's very strange. They do it.
I don't know, they're struggling for numbers, and that's something like a program they came up with to try and entice young people.
They probably just have so much money in the budget. They're like, we got to fucking do something with it.
It's hundreds of millions of dollars to throw around, so $100,000 to spend on one bloke. It's a small drop in the ocean, really.
It's true. It's true.
And that was the extent of the army, pretty much.
And then, so you met Bridget.
Yeah.
Doing the long distance shit.
4 years of that shit. That was flying back to Canberra. You know, every second month I'd go up there and she'd fly down. You know, alternate.
Yeah.
On apprentice wages, that was pretty sketchy. Did that for 4 years.
So you came back and you were a plumber.
So I started
working with your old man David.
Yeah.
Dave,
DGW Plumbing. If you need any assistance in your plumbing needs, give him a call. 0418.
You went from. You can sponsor the fucking show, Dave.
Yeah, come on.
You just got a free plug, mate. Put some fucking money back in there. Slab of Pepsi Maxes, mate. So you went from having all psycho fucking bosses, technically in the army, to like one of the most laid back people in the world.
To a boss that if I couldn't get onto. He was surfing. Like I'd call him 2 or 3 times and it just wouldn't ring. I'm like, he's... But
if you call him, ladies and gentlemen, he won't be.
He'll be straight there to all your plumbing needs.
Yeah.
DGW.
If he doesn't rock up on the work site, it's because he's got gastro or cramps. Runs in the family.
Yeah. 4 years of that.
So apprenticeship. So you're lucky. So you went into your plumbing apprenticeship with your dad because you could, because he was a plumber.
That's not a luxury most people have.
True. I had a couple of years with a gentleman, Grant, doing some plumbing, I learned a lot, but I hated the work. I never did it, but it's a lot different, as I was saying, like a person that you don't know yelling at you and stuff when you're a young kid. I was 17 when I started, and it was
it's a definite
getting paid peanuts and getting fucking yelled at and this and that, but
it's a definite luxury that I had that most people don't
like
have.
Even asking for a day off is a lot different.
Like going to see Bridget in Canberra, I'd just like, Dad, I'm going up
they got flights
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're like, whatever.
I'm not here Friday.
But like, if it's
whereas mine was like, I need you.
I need you. It's like, well, it's one day,
I need you here, cut me fucking wood up at my house.
How about working with all your brothers?
Yeah, so we worked with the brothers too.
Yeah.
They'd be off and on. They went full-timers then. So it was the real family.
So you were the trendsetter?
Tim followed me and Darcy tried to.
Didn't like it?
No.
Tried army, didn't like that. Fair enough.
But,
you gotta try shit.
That's it. You never know if you don't like it unless you try it.
So you started with your dad and then you went to trade school for 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years. Did all that business, most of that sort of a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah, it's
just
isn't it?
Like you're sitting there and
welding.
Yeah, like welding pipes that no plumber ever does anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of the, no one listens in there. It's just like shit fight. Like most people use it as a week off from their crap boss.
Yeah.
Whereas I felt bad because I was like, I'm jibbing my dad out of a week's pay to do this shit. Like,
yeah. I remember fucking teachers being like, stop fucking around. Your bosses are paying for this shit. If I ring them up and tell them you're doing this, you fuckers are going to get sacked. Which is probably true.
Yeah, very much so.
But it was just so funny. People who always in my class used to go out Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Go into town and shit. And then come over, like Friday, rock up, hungover. They'd just sleep in their cars, get a cab.
Yeah, right.
So
it's not like you really needed to be on the ball that much there.
no, Fridays seem to be pretty cruisy anyway. You finish all your work by Wednesday
Early
usually.
knock off.
Yeah. So you did your, was it 3 years and then your journeyman's?
Yeah, you do that journeyman's, so it's like a 3-day practical exam. That was stressful.
Yeah.
Give them that.
That's quite expensive.
Yeah, there's maybe $1,000, I think.
And if you fail, you got to do it again.
Yeah, and you got to pay again. Not $1,000, like you got to pay per subject.
So it's, what is it? What are the...
There was drainage, welding, gas, water, sanitary, and roofing.
Yeah.
There's probably other. Oh, and commissioning, which is, firing up appliances and stuff. So there might have been 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Pretty full on.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine that would be because you want to get your license and then get paid from not apprentice
and
wages.
You've got to wait 6 months to do it again. They only do it every 6 months they do it.
Geez, so if you fail 3-4 times, that's 2 years.
You've got to wait a long time.
And you're not doing the shit as well. So what gets a lot of people is you actually not actively doing this stuff at your work, and that's what you slip up on.
Well, yeah. People get pigeonholed at their work, they'll just do heating and cooling.
Well, if you're a roofer, you're fucked,
Whereas, like, I finished all my assignments quite early with like 3 weeks to go, so I was just doing a heap of revision.
Yeah.
That helped.
And you got through the first time?
Yeah, got through the first time. But I was, it was very nerve-wracking doing that.
Yeah.
It's probably the most nervous I've been doing that stuff. Just because,
someone's marking it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on the real job, you're like, if you cut a hole too big, you fucking squirt silicone. It's fucked. Like, it's so...
Just hide the...
Yeah, like, what is it, like a rivet?
Yeah, rivet
gap. Stem or something?
The rivet stem gap, and that's a fail. So in 6 months,
It's fucked. And on a job site, you're like...
Yeah.
Just fucking whole tube of silicone, you're like, hey, fuck.
Boss is at the van, you just quickly fill it up, you'll never notice. But, it's just one of those things. And that's sort of... Maybe the army helped with that sort of mental stuff, being able to stay cool a bit. And
and like, I assume like repetition of doing it, stuff like that would probably get you. But you're lucky that with your apprenticeship you did do a lot of varied stuff.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of blokes, like you said, roofing. Yeah, they can't lay a drain or do anything.
No idea. Work. Like when I did plumbing stuff, it was very limited, and I wouldn't even know the name of fucking shit.
Yeah, well, that's it.
And like, hand me this. I'm like, what?
But that's the thing too. Like,
we do this.
Once you get signed off, once you're finished the journeyman's, you get signed off. You're registered to do all the plumbing, like all the aspects of plumbing. Yeah. You might only know one aspect, so it's like, how is that?
They need to like change the system of that, and you get to pick. I only want to be a roofer.
That's why I don't get why roofers have to do.
Victorian? Is that Victorian? Or is it all the same?
I'm not sure. Victoria is. I know Victoria is. It's just you get one license and you can do all those aspects. Yeah. Even if you've never done them in the real world, which is
Yeah. So it's fun.
Heating and cooling blokes. We did a week of heating and cooling at trade school out of 3 years, but they get the same license as I do, and I get the same license as they do. I can do splitties. Yeah. They can do gas heating, hot and cold and roofing.
Yeah, the gas is a bit worrying. Where you can blow up someone's house.
Just going around blowing up houses casually.
Or doing the what was the thing where you said like the heaters and stuff, fixing them, commissioning? Is it commissioning?
Yeah.
You fucking carbon monoxide.
Do that wrong and people never wake up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, plumbing's. It's easy in some respects, but once you start getting into the gas side of stuff and the carbon monoxide gases, it's pretty there's a fair bit of liability involved in plumbing. Like, there's a fair bit of stress. Yeah, there's a lot of shit in plumbing. Like, even like putting on someone's roof and it fucking like leaks and wrecks their entire fucking house. Water pipe in a house blows up, fills the house with water and flood, their timber floor pops, and you're out for 20K.
Yeah,
to fix it. It's a lot of.
Does your insurance cover that? Do you have plumbing insurance?
Public liability would, yeah.
Yeah, so your dad would be covered for all that type of stuff.
But yeah.
What I forgot to ask, going back to the army stuff, which the camera's going to do in 2 seconds, but would you recommend doing army, the gap year?
Takes a special kind of person. If you like regimented, routine, and you can be, you can be told what to do, and you need that guidance, then it's probably a good thing for you.
Yeah. But you wouldn't recommend it? No.
I would not recommend.
Alright, so gap year you wouldn't probably recommend?
Would not recommend to anyone to do ever.
Okay, fair enough. Unless you were that way inclined.
Unless you're, you just froth on that stuff, the Defence Force, and that's what you want to do, go for it, but I would not. I told my brother.
Don't do it.
Yeah. I was like,
no. You made really good friends.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got lifelong friends from that.
I know, mate. I've been on my podcast. It's fine. You don't have to bring me in. No. Yeah, so that does make sense because you would be with someone for nearly a whole fucking year.
And the shit you go through.
Yeah.
Galvanizes. You make the best friends in shit situations, I've found.
Yeah.
Like, at my last workplace, there was certain shit situations.
Yeah.
And the people you go through that with, you become real good mates with. Same with the army. Basic training, the next training stage.
Yeah.
Really shit. Those blokes that I'm probably, they're some of my really good mates now. And you don't see them very often, but you still, chat to them.
Yeah. You get always good memories. Not good memories, but like...
Yeah, you can reminisce about stuff that most people can't. So, it's a bit of a bond that you share that most people don't.
Yeah,
and could you imagine what it's like for the guys that actually get deployed?
Yeah.
And go on missions?
I know, I can't, no.
Well, neither can I.
Yeah.
Like that, the mates that they get from that would be even next level.
Yeah, pretty crazy. And then, obviously, the terrible thing is if they were killed, it's one of my best friends ever, do or die, fucking, and they pass away would be absolutely terrible. And if you don't like him, you can always fight. I accidentally got shot.
Roll a grenade. Oh, whoops, I actually dropped that grenade.
Yeah.
Shattered.
Come in the room, fucking film on the trigger of the bad guy. Plumbing, as I said, we'll shoot over that one pretty quick.
Yes.
Plumbing's plumbing. I mean, if someone wanted to be a plumber, how do you think they'd go around it? How does someone find a plumbing job these days? Apprenticeship.
They're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere.
Seek.
I went on Seek as soon as I got back from overseas, which we'll touch on, but I'm just applied.
Yeah.
Plumbing's one of those things you sort
Every second person seems to be a fucking plumber.
How many vans do you see getting around the Geelong and Surf Coast area now? It's a flooded market.
Yeah, it's fucked. You should be getting paid like $6 an hour, you cunts.
Come on.
Realistically.
We've had that discussion. Let's not go down that hole. But just...
Well, that's touching back on that. So you had to do trade school for 3 years, then your journeyman's a big test you had to do. You got paid shit during your apprenticeship. Kind of when people do complain about tradespeople getting jack all money. Heaps of money, the opposite. It kind of does make sense. It kind of is university to a hands-on university.
Especially if you do, because you do your apprenticeship and then you can do licensing courses.
Yeah.
So then that gives you the ability to run your own business.
Yeah, so that's further study.
I've done that. And that's again, it's not super intensive, but it's just gaining more knowledge of things.
Yeah.
So you don't kill people when you do things. And running a business, accepting that liability that things might go wrong, that's where earning that good money, that's why plumbers deserve that.
Yeah.
It's because any Joe Blow could do some of the work.
Oh yeah.
But they haven't put the time and the money, haven't invested all that money into
and such.
Running a business. And running your own business is quite stressful, I think. You're always worrying about workload. You go home at night. Most people clock off from their job at 5 or whatever, and then they just sign out in them, But you go home and it's always in your mind.
Yeah, if you've got to do quotes or this.
Yeah. It's always weighing on your mind. Do I have enough work to have money coming in?
Can I go surfing tomorrow?
Yeah, I see.
All that type of shit.
Where do I send the sun so I can bludge as much as I want?
Yeah.
But there is a misconception that plumbers earn a lot of money.
Filthy boss.
It's completely wrong. Completely wrong. Their bosses do all right, but like I said, they deserve to. They're just the common workers. It's not that great. like
it's 35.
30, yeah, $30 an hour is pretty acceptable. If you go commercial, that's where you jump up to about 50, 55.
It's sought after.
Yeah, and that's like, no one's ever going to complain about. That's really good money. And like, I don't know if they deserve that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But then you're doing half the work. Like, you're doing like certain things. And
I did 3 years commercial before coming back to Victoria.
Yeah.
And it's a different work pace.
You work with your money, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot less money.
Okay, so plumbing, touched on army stuff, we touched on plumbing. Last year you got your 2-year working visa.
Yeah.
Is it Tier 5? Is that it? Or is that
IEC,
the Canadian one? IEC. I'm thinking of the UK one, sorry. So you did that, you got the 2-year working visa with Bridget, with the idea of buying a van, pimping it out, travelling around Canada and the US, and you, with the visa, you could get a job when you wanted one. You did end up working in Whistler.
That's the one with every other Aussie that goes over there pretty much.
Doing was it ski lift?
Like ticket scanning.
Ticket scanning? Yeah. Oh, really? Fucking gee, that would be fucking boring.
It was very boring. Yeah. Time has never gone slower in a workplace than it did there.
Yeah.
A 5-hour shift. Like, plumbing goes quick. Like, the day's done before it begins. This dragged like a motherfucker. Like, it was the slowest pace. You stand there and do nothing.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want me to start from the start?
Let's go from the start. So you do your visa, you apply online for your visa, you pay all the money. If you are interested in doing that yourself, all you've got to do is go on the Canadian government website, follow all their prompts, pay about $450, I think, when I did it. And then you'll get a POE, or a Port of Entry letter. PEO?
POE.
POE?
Port of Entry,
yeah. Before we fuck that up. And then you literally get that piece of paper, you take it to immigration when you get to Canada. Say you're there to work, then they look it through your documentation. A bit of a myth that we've both found out of the insurance you've got to have for 2 years. They say that you're supposed to have it. They actually never checked mine. They never checked Bridget's or Woodsy's. But they say you're supposed to be covered for as long as you want to be in Canada. So if you've got 6-month insurance, you'll only get a 6-month visa, is what they'll say. But what we have found out, which we probably both got lucky, it's probably just someone not giving a fuck. But I just went the cheap option and got 2 cheap years, 2 policies back to back, which cost me about $1,000, I think it was. Yeah. Some of them are like $2,500, $3,000 if you want to add ski. I would not recommend doing that. I would recommend getting the cheap one, and then if you were going to do skiing stuff, maybe get insurance while you're over there.
You can add it on as well.
Yeah. So it's or if you get hurt skiing and you're able to walk,
just lie
and say you tripped on a gutter. Just don't say you were drinking, you tripped on a fucking gutter, you're fine.
Get down the hill and then worry about it after that.
So then, it's all you got to do, just lie. Or we're fucking, say you got cramps, you're fucking
just lie your way through life. That's the moral of the story.
It's what I would tell my children.
Lie.
Police approved.
Yeah. Get fucking competent at lying and your life will be so much fucking easier. Realistically.
That's it.
Lying just helps me every day. It just helps me get out of fucking morning, helps me keep doing this podcast, and it's special.
Lying trumps hard work any day of the week.
It does. It really does.
So we got the working visa for Canada, which is 2 years.
Yep.
We got a tourist visa for the United States.
Which visa was that?
It's a B1/B2 visa. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, and that's how long?
That is a 5-year visa, but you can only be in the country for 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
You can get the electronic visas for Canada and the States, that gives you 3 months.
ETA and ESTA.
Yeah. So, but we were unsure of how long we were going to spend in the States, so we didn't want to have to, flagpole and go back to Canada and pop back down.
Yeah.
It was probably lucky we did get that because we spent over 3 months in the States.
Ah.
So we got those, flew over because we're cheap.
Yeah.
Our nature, everyone probably knows that. We
flew. Matthew is very cheap. Well, I can't remember the line that I used in your 21st speech saying how much you're retired.
Should have brought that out. It's in the email somewhere. But we flew through LA and then final destination was Seattle.
Yeah.
Spent a couple of days there. Pretty cool city. I'd recommend that to anyone.
Yeah.
That's worth
Porn
a look.
star Gianna Michaels is from there.
Yeah.
Look her up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hometown hero.
She is.
Went on, yeah. I've got a great uncle who lives in Vancouver, so we stayed with him for 2 weeks.
Wait, so from Seattle you took a bus or you flew?
Bussed it because we're cheap and did
so,
that.
So to the border, then you had to show him.
That's where we got the guy there. It must have been his first day, or he just didn't give two shits.
Probably more that. The latter.
He printed off our actual official working visa.
Yeah.
The dates were just completely wrong. I don't know how.
We're here for 10 years.
Yeah,
my mate got 3 years because they fucked up his math.
See,
They were just like, so you carrying the one, yeah, fucking.
And once they do that, it's just too bad, so sad. Yeah. And he stapled it in our passports, and we're looked at it, mate, that's wrong. And he just rips it out. You know how valuable a passport is. You're not supposed to mess with it at all. He just rips it out, and the stamp he just scribbled out, and got us a new one. Obviously, like you said, didn't check our.
How long did they give you?
2 years.
Okay. What did they originally give you? Or was just the dates?
It was just the dates were fucked up.
Okay,
yeah.
which is down the track fucks you.
Because you know what they give you the port of entry letter, and you've got a certain amount of time to use that.
Yeah.
He went from the start date from when we got the port of entry letter.
Oh, okay.
So he was only going to give us maybe 18 months or something. I was like, no.
It's from now.
Yeah, it's from now. And he didn't check
it's a
out.
shit system. I hated it. The UK one is they send your visa off to a third-party country usually because it's cheaper. I think ours is the Philippines. They give you an actual fucking visa printed in your passport, picture of your mug, and that's it. The downside is it starts from then though.
Yeah. And
when you have a year to get into Canada, but at least with this fucking thing, you know you've 100% got it because they can turn you away in Canada. I don't know why
discretion.
They would.
Yeah. And that's like you were saying, with the USA visa, we went up to the office in Melbourne, the consulate or whatever it is, embassy or consulate, whatever, and they give you an interview, and it's pretty much
same as Canada,
UK. Making sure you're not wanting to work because it was a tourist visa, making sure you had the sufficient funds and you weren't going to try and live there.
Do they do your fingerprints? You buy
fingerprints, and they take your passport from you, and then they mail it back with a proper visa in it, with your picture and everything.
So it's the exact same as the UK.
Canadian one is a folded up piece of paper in your passport.
Shit.
Looks like I could print it off here.
It's so shit.
It's got no
and it's weirdly a little bit shorter than your average piece of paper as well.
Because Canadian A4s are different.
I know, it's weird.
It's weird. And so we got that. Back onto the Canadian visa.
Yeah.
You've got to get your fingerprints. Did you have to do that?
No, I missed it.
We had to go to Sydney to do our fingerprints.
Because there was no need.
It took 10 minutes. Had to take a day off work. They only do it in Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah.
If you live in Perth, you got to fly all the way to Australia. You're in Australia. You got to fly all the way to Melbourne or Sydney. Same with Brisbane. They do it in Bali.
Oh.
So you can fly if you're in the Northern Territory. It might be quicker to go there. It's absolutely retarded. South Australia, you got to come to. So that was stupid.
Yeah. So they've made it hard for people to do that.
The USA visa was
UK is the same, I believe. That's the tier 5, the one that I did.
Yeah.
The UK. So you got to fly. I didn't fly. I was lucky it was in Melbourne, but then there's the guy that I met when I was overseas. He's from Tassie, and he's like, I have to fly to fucking Melbourne.
Yeah,
he's like, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
And the USA one, maybe because it was a tourist visa, but you just generally think that the USA is harder to get anything. That was way less questions on the application. Yeah, compared to the Canadian one, and then
the Canadian ones are working, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is why it was. Probably,
I think that's where they get
So we retained them. We're in Seattle a couple of days, then we went up to Vancouver. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, checked her out. Went up to Vancouver, stayed with my great uncle, and that's where we started hunting for a van. Seen a couple. They didn't really jump. They were a bit dodgy, dodgy car salesmen, wogs, they whisk you in, they wouldn't let you leave, try and sell you, don't know what's going on with this shit heap.
Yeah. That's the issue when you're overseas, you're like, how do we go about this? Do I just give you money and it's mine, or do I have to take it for a roadworthy or this or that? So
no idea.
Yeah.
And you helped us because you were there. And you helped us set up with like the bank accounts and
took a day off work,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
The tax file number and all that
SIN
shit.
number. So that's one thing we could quickly. So when you go to Canada, and it's the exact same as probably every country, you got to get like in Australia it's a tax file number. In in Canada it's the SIN. I can't remember that social insurance number. I guess it would be.
Yeah, something. Identity number maybe.
Yeah, something like that. So you literally just go to a government building. Sign some paperwork, then they go, yep, and then you're allowed to work. Without that, you're actually not allowed to work.
No.
Because it's for your bank to be able to pay you and everything. So like, it's for the tax man, essentially. So, and if your tax return as well, you've got to have this in. So you did that shit, bank, mobile number, license. License was a bit of a prick.
That was a bit of a prick.
I think I told you about that before you came over, that you had to have a Vic Roads or the driving history, and then you do that little test.
It had to be an original copy, remember that?
Yeah, that was fucked.
I didn't have original copy, I had a printed off version.
But you got away with it.
I thought if I folded up into thirds, so it looks like it came in the, mail, that'd trick him, and it did. Or she just didn't care. Yeah. You didn't have the same luck?
I tried to do it myself, but of course when they scanned the original to me was one in black and white, and two was just fucked. Like it was off, it was tilted and shit, like cut off. And then this lady just knew everything. Yeah, I went to the one chick that was just, she's like, even the paper's a little bit longer than your average. And I was like, fuck! So then it was like another fucking 4 weeks to like nut it out, ringing Vic Roads from Canada. It was an absolute joke.
They want it faxed over. It's like, no one's used fax in Australia since 2006.
And then they don't know, like, you speak to the people and it's only Vic Roads too. You only have this problem for Victoria and Canada because ours doesn't have something on the licence. When it's issued, I believe. Maybe
before you want a BC licence, go to New South Wales and get their licence or something.
Or maybe buy an international driver's licence.
Because that's a hassle that you don't need.
It's because we found out that you needed your licence to be able to get your car. Yeah. So you have to have that tangible fucking... Yeah. But you just got a bit of a paper, didn't you?
Yeah. That's a fair story in itself. Because I got that paper, and then we couldn't find a van in Vancouver. Yeah. So Bridget's brother lives in Winnipeg, dead centre of Canada.
Shithole.
Bit of a shithole, yeah. I found a van on Kijiji, which is like Gumtree. Yeah. It was spot on. It was what we wanted. It was in good nick. And I was just like, fuck this, let's go. 2 days later, we rented a car. It's like a 26-hour drive. Did it in a couple of days. Just hightailed that there. So the BC license rocked up a day after we left. Yeah. Standard.
Sweet.
So that had to get posted to Manitoba, which is the province there. Yeah. So we hightailed it from there. Went and looked at that van. We decided on that van. So we picked that one, and I was like, I just got to get my license first. And he was like, okay. Gave him a deposit so he didn't sell it. And then we got the BC one, had to transfer that to Manitoba. Yeah. That was possibly one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. In BC, you didn't have to prove that you lived there. You just had to give them an address. Yeah, yeah. In Manitoba, you had to have 2 forms of documentation to say that you lived there. One of them is a guarantor form.
Okay.
So I got Bridget's sister-in-law, Canadian. She verified that yes, he lives here, and blah blah blah. And the other one could be like a bank statement, a utility, bill. Yeah. I've got none of that. I've been there for 2 days. Yeah. Funnily enough, you go to the bank and you can just change your address on the bank statement.
Oh yeah.
I did that, so that was sufficient. So I went in, took those documents, got that license. Yeah. So they gave me another, like a bit of paper. Yeah. You got that, so that's good enough for a license. So then we could go buy the car, and then we started kitting that out. Hashtag van life. That was when van life became a thing.
Okay, so you're in Manitoba.
Yep.
You got the van.
Got the van.
You go to your brother or sister-in-law, we'll say. You start to pimp that out.
Yep.
So when you buy the van, did you have to take it to like what's it called, like DMV or like big road type thing, or?
Nah, we bought it from a guy.
ICBC, I think it's called in Canada.
Yeah, they were. I don't know what they were called. In Manitoba, MPI. Yeah.
MPI. Sounds like a rap.
Yeah, they were pieces of shit. But the guy we bought it off was a used car guy. Like he'd buy them and do them up and then resell them.
So he knew about it.
He took care of it all for us. We had to go to an MPI to get the insurance.
Now the insurance, we found out in Vancouver, British Columbia probably, is crazily expensive compared to Australia. What's your insurance a year? I can't even remember what mine is.
In Canada?
Sorry, here.
Here it's, well, I've only got third party on my sheet. It's like $300.
So $300 for the entire year it is in Australia. In Canada, how much is it?
I know some people who bought, I think it was $3,000 a year.
Yeah, it's something like that. And then if you can say that you've never had an accident, they'll take off a fair chunk.
Yeah, so in Manitoba, they took off 30%.
Yeah.
So we pay about $700 a year.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
It's nearly 3 times the amount, which is pretty crazy.
But that's Manitoba. It is a lot cheaper than BC.
Yeah.
We met some people who ended up buying a truck in BC.
Yeah.
I think they said it was like $300 a month or something.
It's grotesque what insurance is overseas compared to here.
Which is, I don't know how people afford that,
Yeah, no, they make fucking peanuts and they still have to pay.
And that's, ours was a shit, not a real bad car, but it was like a pretty old model. Imagine if you had a new car, like how much that sets you back every month. So
you're pimping your van out?
Plenty of YouTube videos, all that sort of stuff. Just probably spent a good week just researching what we wanted to do. Yeah. And then it was, all right, we're doing this. Countless trips to Home Depot.
Yeah, which is Bunnings.
Yeah, Bunnings. Just every day. It was pretty much our daily outing to Home Depot.
In the van you do it up?
Yeah, pretty much. So you're just throwing stuff in there. So we fully insulated it because it get pretty cold where we were going. So we fully insulated it. Flooring, so it was like vinyl flooring. Yeah. I don't know what you call the they were like timber sheets on the wall. They were sort of had grain in it. They looked like, I don't know, they looked pretty nice. I don't know what you call them. Yeah. And then the roof.
Nice looking ply.
Yeah, ply, real thin ply that had a nice grain in it. Yeah. And then tongue and groove on the ceiling, which is do you know what that is? It's just like that.
Is it is it yellow tongue that we call it here?
Nah, it's thin strips of timber. Yeah. And they clip into each other. Okay, and it's got like a notch out in the middle for aesthetics. Okay. And that's what a lot of them use. They normally do the whole thing, but it's real heavy. Oh, so I just did it on the roof to try and save, because weight. Yeah, yeah. More weight just means more fuel, and that thing uses about
smashing into a fucking tree when your brakes don't work. Yeah. We
were burning about 15 litres per 100 k's, which is pretty bad.
Is it?
Yeah. And we did that. Lots of timber. Put lights in it. Yeah. It's like a 12-volt system.
Because this was going to be you're living in this bad boy. Yeah. How big is it compared to it? Because I've seen it, but it's a lot bigger than your average van in Australia.
Yeah, it's not just like a Hi-Ace or something.
It's probably like a fucking Sprinter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a Mercedes Sprinter.
It's the same length, but not as high. Like Sprinters you can walk around in. Yeah. That's what the pro van life is. They'll use a Sprinter because you can walk around. Because we were hunched over, we couldn't stand up. Yeah. But that was all right because it was a temporary sort of thing. We weren't going to live in there permanently. So they're a tank on wheels. They are. There's no aluminium or plastic sidings. It's all steel. It's a tank. It was an E150, so like an F-150 but a van. Yeah. So a Ford.
It's a big.
It was a V8 4.6 litre. Yeah. Which, when I say that to Australians, was like, whoa! But over there, that's a small engine. There's V8s that are 6 litres and V10s and V12s.
I know nothing about
it. Yeah, it's just
I know it was fucking big.
Yeah, it was
when I saw it, I was like, whoa, shit.
The bonnet's up to your chin,
I was like, you can abduct a lot of kids in this.
Yeah. Rape van.
Yeah.
bit of candy and you're set.
Yeah. So with so you pimp that out to done.
Put a bed in there.
Yeah.
Put a bed in.
It's quite like I remember seeing looking in the van that it was quite close to the fucking roof.
Yeah. So
I honestly wake up every night and panic. I think fucking sleep apnea or something like. Oh God!
Yeah.
Straight up, I would clonk myself every night.
The reason for that is in the back of the van because the climate there is so harsh. Negative 40 in the winter. It had
this now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It had like rear air conditioner, so you could heat and cool the whole van, not just the front.
Oh, really? Okay.
So and that sat up about a metre, so we had to build the bed above that.
Yeah.
That
worked well.
We had maybe 300 mil. When you were laying on the bed, it was probably 200 mil from the roof.
In direction,
straight
dicks freezes to the roof.
But like the first night, I'm quite claustrophobic. Can't sleep in swags or anything like that. I had a panic attack, and I had to open the side doors and just be breathing real heavy. I'm like, we'll have to go home and fix this because I can't do this.
And you got used to it.
Got used to it.
Yeah.
And
They forced me to be in the classroom.
she because you'd have one person would sleep, so you slept sideways. You didn't sleep with your head.
Oh yeah.
Side to side, not front to back. Most people can.
It's impossible trying to get a room there. Let's be honest.
It's not happening. It was not happening. Other factors too. Not showering for a few days.
That is the thing that people think fucking you do this and that. It's like, no, you're gross. It's very it's not the obviously you don't have a shower.
Baby wipes.
Yeah.
We had one of those.
It's a different life. It's van life. It's gross.
But so that took a lot of getting used to it. I had Bridget had to sleep on the enclosed side, the back of the van side, so I could sleep on the open side. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it was hard enough sleeping there. But that van was kitted out. That had.
And you'd sleep right?
Yeah.
Or would it be loud as fuck if you passed?
No, we got used to it. We'd sleep at truck stops.
Yeah.
And the trucks would keep their engines going all night.
Really?
Or a generator or something. It was always idling. So it was pretty loud. And we'd get used to that. And we had lights in there. We had a fan, a two-way fan, extraction and bring air in. Yeah. Because we'd cook in there. You need to get rid of the fumes. We had lights and solar panels on the roof. Yeah. So it was pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, I was quite impressed.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if you made an Instagram van life type,
There was a guy who started that whole hashtag van life.
Yeah.
And
Steve
he
got on it.
Coined the phrase, And it's just blown up. People make a good career from doing it on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you go down that rabbit hole on YouTube, it's just endless. People trying to make a living.
It is very different, and it is a great way to get around. You guys saw a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah, and it's the cheap way to live. We paid for maybe excluding Vegas because you can't really van life there. Out of 3 months, we probably paid for 3 nights accommodation.
Jeez.
100, and that was $100, so $300 over 3 months.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's a good way to do it if you're on a budget. And which we were.
Or you're cheapskates.
Yeah, or you just.
Well, that's it. You just want to fucking. You want to be able to maximise your spendings on other shit. Yeah. Not fucking accommodation.
Well, we went there.
Fuck where you sleep.
Well, most people go on a holiday for a month or two, so they can afford to just blow all their money.
Yeah.
But we were looking to be there for quite a while, so you're on a budget and you're trying to save as much as you can to prolong working and coming home and facing reality.
I suppose you guys had the good thing is you could work. No. So van life, you fucking, where are we?
Where were we? We were talking
about the YouTube and stuff. You saving so much money on accommodation. So then you're travelling around. So from Winnipeg you go from...
Yeah, so we use that as a base, which is good because it's central to that whole area. And we entered the States, which is always... a bit nerve-wracking. You never know what they're going to be like. Yep. We never had any issues. We crossed the border into the States 3 times.
Yep.
Never had an issue.
How long would you stay in the States usually for?
Probably longest stint was 2 months because we crossed back over into Vancouver quickly and then ducked back into the States.
Yeah.
Never an issue with them, you know. I'm sure if you gave them a reason to.
So you just, yeah, it's true.
We were pretty low risk, I think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you pimped out your van and shit like that,
a couple of Aussies,
like,
you know, travelling around, what risk are we? We're not going to stay down there and work. And
You're surprised.
Well, if they did, I'd be like, why would I want to go to that? Like, minimum wage is like $5 or $6.
So where did you go in the US?
So we started. I've got an infatuation with Minnesota, as you probably know. Anything sports there. So we started there, went to their state fair, which was unreal. It was like, you know, the Ekka in Queensland. Have you heard of that? It's like the biggest thing. It was like 3 of those. It was huge.
Yeah.
Just anything you can imagine was there. Like real American. Like Trump like stalls and all that shit. Yeah, we went through there, and you know they were like trying to, you know, we're like, we can't.
What did you buy?
No, we didn't buy shit from there, but like, just like, you know, Geelong show times 10 maybe. Yeah. And then we went to a couple of went to the college ball there, the Gridiron. That was unreal. Yeah, that was their first game of the season. We were only there for a couple of days.
Where are we?
Minnesota, so Minneapolis, where all the shit's going down.
Going well. I'm pretty sure they defunded the police today.
Yeah.
Or disbanded the police.
Yeah.
They're going to call it something else, but it's still a police force.
I don't get
just
that.
under a different name. But anyway, so you went to the college game. How do you get tickets to that?
There's those apps. They're third-party ticket sales. So what
like Game Time and stuff?
Yeah. What they do in the States and Canada is as soon as the tickets get released, because there's such a high demand, people buy the tickets with no intention of going to the game, and then they jack the price up. So you use those.
Scalping is legal, apparently.
People outside the ground would just be like, do you need tickets? Do you need tickets?
Fuckers.
Yeah, and there's like, there'd be half a dozen apps at least to buy tickets from. So you just monitor them.
StubHub, Game Time.
Once it gets close to the game,
they're really good.
Tickets drop a bit, and you go like, it's a bit of an art, like picking when the tickets are at their lowest point in price.
It's like half an hour, I reckon.
And then you just jump on it, and we just went, and
so that was your college ball?
Yeah, and then we got on the radio there. So
in Minnesota,
one like
channel, podcast. Was it
that was actual radio? So morning show.
Yeah. So you weren't in someone's shed?
No, bit of a different setup, bit of a high rise there. Yeah. But they're top 10 in the country for morning shows. So
and they had you on there.
Yeah, so you know they were scraping the bottom of the.
But were they asking you about fucking which porn site you were like on radio?
One of the guys is ex-army, so you know they're all about that shit.
Yeah.
They're a weird. A lot of the stuff they talk about on radio, I wouldn't have thought you could hear.
So it's not paid?
Hey?
It's not paid radio, like a internet, not paid.
No, it's you get it on your FM.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And
maybe there's just so many channels that are like, fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they're Triple J.
But they're owned by iHeart Radio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're like
the Apple you always
radio. So they're a big deal, that radio station in the country.
And how'd you get on there?
Went to they did a live taping at the state fair.
Yeah.
And we went and you line up and you chat to them, and we didn't do that. We left. Come back an hour later and they were just standing there, no one around.
Yeah.
And I went up and said hello, and they were just.
Good day, mate.
Yeah, they give you that look like.
Where are you?
They thought we were Poms. I'm like, no, we're Aussies. And he was like, oh, did you come here just for this? And I was like, yeah, kinda.
You're my biggest hero.
Yeah, I just sort of lied.
Yeah.
And he just invited us in that morning.
Yeah.
And we went in, and their first segment, they just bullshit about anything.
Yeah.
So it's a good time for them to have us on, and they just throw us on. It's like 5:45 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so pretty low risk sort of content for them that time of the morning. Yeah. It doesn't matter if we're just peanuts and
they get too far.
Yeah.
They can do their regular segments later.
But that was pretty cool. Like we got free tickets to the hockey out of that.
Yeah. So you saw the Wild.
The Wild. Was that trip or the second?
That was the
second time. We got tickets to the Vikings, the NFL, free from those guys. Yeah.
Free tickets to the NFL.
And the Wild, yeah. So they were very generous. They were very.
What's give them a plug? Who are they?
Well, that's the PowerTrip Morning Show with Corey, Meat Sauce, and Hawk. If anyone wants to listen,
Meat Sauce.
Paul Meat Sauce Lambert. That guy Sauce. He was very good to us.
Yeah. I gave you a bottle of water.
Yeah, I'm saying it's Vikings tickets, sort of...
To put it in perspective, how much are Viking tickets? NFL, usually.
Hundreds.
Yeah, it all depends on how big of a game it is.
Roughly. What's the cheapest you'd usually get for a cheap game?
150, 200 Australian.
Yeah,
you could
and that's
pay,
each?
Yeah, you could pay
so they gave you
$1,000.
Substantially decent shit.
And our wild tickets were like right down by the rink, 10 rows back. So
yeah, and they're probably $150 each.
They hooked us up like really good.
They gave you like $1,000 worth of shit.
Yeah, and then
at least 500.
They don't know us.
Yeah,
we're nothing
crazy.
to them.
And your Twitter followers.
Yeah, they got us about 400 Twitter followers because then we went on the podcast.
Really?
And we're pretty
What's your Twitter?
It's Aussie Vikes fan, I think. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Got a 400 followers out of it, so that's always good. Throw up a few.
Did you have Instagram for the van at all? Did you ever make anything like that?
Nah, we didn't delve into the van life. Sort of. I just saw there was that many out there, and who really
like
cares?
podcasts.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We've just become self-aware.
Yeah.
But I just didn't. The only people that I felt really cared was Bridget's parents and my parents.
Yeah.
They always want to make sure you're safe. So we just sending them stuff.
You send them shit. Like, kind of big deals in America now. I'll probably be working with the Vikings soon.
Maybe we can get a shout out to them and we'll get you going in. You'll just have this like little niche in Minnesota.
Yeah. Like, down with the police! Down with the police!
You'll have to stay up to date with their, their current affairs so you can be topical with them. Just weigh in.
That's right, meat sauce.
There's some
foreign correspondent Tait.
They'll get you on there. They're always they're amazed.
The sounds of it, they got you on there, mate.
They were more so amazed that
you guys,
people, like because I listened to them prior to going over there.
Yeah,
and just
to meet a fan, I guess, would always be interesting. Like we actually,
like
we get to people. We've got a range,
and most of their stuff isn't. Like, you're not going to learn anything from them. It doesn't better you, really. Like, they're just blokes talking shit, like talking about, porn and jacking off and just shit like...
Blokes,
just blokey stuff, which I don't know how they get that on the radio and just...
Yeah, they're Carly, there's girls.
Yeah, they've got one girl on there, with a token girl.
She's talking about squirting.
They do.
Cramps.
They talk about shit like... And they have a couple of Vikings and stuff, so they'll, throw in the sports.
That's good, yeah.
But... for the most part, you don't get a whole lot. It's not like listen to a podcast to better yourself. It's just a
like
laugh.
This.
Yeah, see?
Tait Talks.
Yeah. Learn about Woodsy.
That's it, yeah.
And then,
there's little things that you can obviously take away from this podcast. So you did that, you got awesome, you got the free tickets.
We left there, went to the Dakotas, which is west.
Yep.
Went to the Badlands, which was unreal. A national park. It's like...
What's the national park?
It was Badlands National Park.
It's called Badlands?
Yeah, it's a Badland. They got Badlands in Canada, but that was the Badlands.
What, is it named after anything?
It's because it's like it's a barren area where there's nothing going on, It's just like, wasn't desert, but it was not much grows there.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice. We went there. That national park was like...
So you stayed at a lot of national parks?
You can't stay in the national parks. You go outside.
Yeah.
And the land was like government owned. You'd use websites to find these government-owned areas where people would camp.
Yeah.
First night, we camped on top of this cliff, and it was just lightning in the distance and looking into the national park. It was unreal. And that was the first stop. And then from there, we went on to Colorado, looking at Bridget, because she remembers it all.
Got Bridget in the corner here.
So we went through the Rockies.
Yeah.
Like, you think, when we go to the snow here, they're pretty much foothills compared to what they've got. We went through the Rockies, did all that.
Almost started a fire.
Yeah.
Started a fire.
We one night we were camping, like the best spot. You can't, like, some of the pictures were unreal. And we had this nice fire going. Pretty much a tornado came through.
Oh, really?
Blew the fire into like a dry field. Thought we were going to burn down the state of Colorado.
Like fucking go! Yeah.
So like we did that. We stayed in some unreal places.
Yeah.
And then from the Rockies...
So that's the best thing about being in the van is you get to stay.
You just pick up and move wherever you want.
What's the worst thing about being in the van?
Needing to go to the toilet at night.
Yes.
Having so we had like a gallon
good old poo bucket.
No, I did that once or twice into a bag and wet wipes. Squatting.
What is going on when Bridget's trying to sleep and you're just...
She was in the van like
crying
because I was like most nights you're like, I can hold it till the morning. There was no holding this. the Cosby kids were coming. Yeah. So not that way coming. So yes, into a bag, but urinating is like, you know, we have a bucket and a funnel.
Yeah.
Blokes, it's kind of easy.
Yes.
Chicks, a lot more difficult.
Matt knows too much about
Yeah,
it.
you get to know, you want to do it with someone you're not, you know, afraid of seeing that stuff.
Yeah, true.
Because it would ruin a relationship, seeing someone squat over it.
You can put it in your wedding vows.
Yeah.
We're telling you, you're shitting in the van.
So that's probably the shittest thing. And it is quite stressful not knowing where you're going to stay every night.
Yeah.
You've got to go online and try and find a spot that you're allowed to be at.
Yeah.
No one's going to knock on your door at night and say, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because we stayed in a lot of places where we probably weren't, like hotel parking lots.
Okay.
There's lots of cars and you just blend in. But it's a bit sketchy because you could get a person knock on your door at any time of the night and say, what are you doing?
I'm taking a shit, mate.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You see the bag there? And they kick you out or, you know, get your
And then you go to fucking
car towed. And,
that's up.
But like we did, so the Rockies.
Yeah.
And then on to Yosemite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Yosemite. Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yellowstone, which was top 3 for us.
Grand Tetons first.
Grand Tetons as well. They're like sort of in the same area.
Yeah.
Yellowstone was.
Are these are national parks?
Yeah, these are all national parks. Yellowstone is probably top 3.
So what do you do in a national park? Go for a wander?
So yeah, they had these things called geysers. Do you know what they are? They're like
shoots out
steam. So it's like pretty much from the core of the earth. There's pathways up.
Yeah.
And it's superheated water. And it's really rich in minerals. So you get all these colours. And they make these pools.
Yeah.
With like the yellowest yellows. It's just the most vivid colours.
You can't swim in it.
No, you die.
Okay.
So like and it smells like rotten eggs. Like it's sulphur, really strong.
Yeah.
So there was them. Like they're unbelievable. They're hard to describe those. You sort of got to see them.
Google.
And they only, there's 3 sites I think in the world. I think they're in New Zealand, Europe somewhere, and Yellowstone is like where about 80% of them are.
I think there's some in South America because
I
feel like I've seen them.
They're unbelievable. And so that's what Yellowstone was all about.
Yeah.
And they had like...
Is it called Yellowstone because there's Yellowstones?
Probably. But I don't know. And like we've seen...
Yogi Bears.
Yeah.
That's that Yogi Bear.
That's Jellystone. That's where that's supposed to be. We only seen one bear, a little black bear with a cub. We didn't see any grizzlies, which is pretty cool. Seen elk. Yeah, like they just wander around. There was like a little town there. It was like a settlement sort of thing from back in the day.
Yeah.
And the elk would just wander around town, and then they'd have like a harem, and there'd be a buck. You got too close to the buck, he was going to fuck your shit up.
Really?
Yeah, like Asians were getting too close, and he'd be like, come a bit closer. This horn is going where the sun don't shine.
Fuck that.
So that was pretty sick. Yellowstone was top 3, and then after that was...
Tried to go to Glacier.
Yeah, we tried to go to Glacier, which is like on the border of Canada and the States.
Yeah.
It was snowed in, so we couldn't go there. And that's when we went up, we left there, went to Vancouver, seen you for a bit, hung out. Remember that? Probably don't.
Yeah, roughly a couple of nights.
And then we left there, that's when we sort of went down the west coast, Oregon Coastline, which is, recommend that.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Great Ocean Road. The weather was terrible when we were there, but it sort of reminded us of the Great Ocean Road a bit. It's worth a look. Then we didn't do California coastline, stayed away from like LA and San Fran and all that stuff. We went to, that's Yosemite.
Yeah.
That was, wouldn't say that was in our top 3 just because it was so busy, but that's unreal. That's worth a look if anyone's over there.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then after that was Vegas.
Yeah.
And Vegas is something else.
We did those other 2 national parks.
Oh yeah,
Socoa and
Kings Canyon. That's like where the biggest trees in the world grow.
Oh really?
Yeah, like they're like redwoods kind of. They're just they're fucking insane. Like the towers at the Geelong Stadium. Like that sort of.
Shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then Vegas was. We were on a budget again, so we did a bit of gambling. Got into the they call them the slots. what do you call it? Pokey machines.
Yeah.
And we got into the pokies a bit.
Apparently I have a problem.
Bridget's got a problem with the pokies. It's like 1 a.m. just sitting there tapping. And that place, you probably wouldn't want to spend more than 5 days there. I think you'd get sick of it, but it's a place you could keep going back to.
Yeah.
You just walk up and down the strip.
There's crazy shit going on.
There's chicks there with their, like, no tops on, just, like, painted over their nipples, and they're trying to, like, sell you stuff. And, you know, I think prostitution's legal there, so you got blokes trying to sell you stuff, and there's, like, card games.
Blokes?
Oh, like cards. You know, they'll be like... Yeah, probably, yeah, pretty much.
Matt kept taking the cards.
Yeah, kept taking the cards. And they'll send them to your room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you'll call them, and they'll be like, come to this hotel.
Send up your finest whore.
Yeah. So that's, you know... Don't see that in many places.
That's crazy.
And
very accommodating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really got hospitable bunch.
So how did you get? Let's jump from there. That's pretty much van life, is that?
Yeah, Utah. Got to check out Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bryce Canyon. That was top 3 for us. Bryce National Park, and then you've got Zion National Park.
Yeah.
So Utah is.
So all the national parks are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utah is probably their best state for national parks. If we get back there, we'll go there, I reckon.
Yeah.
And then we did Dallas for another NFL game. Went to a 100-seater stadium.
That's pretty cool.
Indoor, so like the
100,000 seater.
100, so like the MCG with a lid on it, pretty much. It's indoor, so it's quite the spectacle. Drove 17 hours for that. Got scammed out of tickets. Never got them. Bought some more tickets off a scalper half an hour before the game.
You would have been freaking out.
Yeah, I was 17 hours for nothing, and I was standing. You could look in because they got massive glass doors.
Yeah.
You could go through the doors and get. But we just couldn't. We were standing there looking at the game. Yeah. We just couldn't get in.
How did you get scammed?
They've got Facebook pages where it'd be like Minnesota Vikings ticket sales.
Yeah.
So people who can't go, because what you get on those apps that we were talking about are huge service fees.
Yeah.
They're like 30% of the ticket. So, you know, if you're paying $200-300 for a ticket, it's a lot of money, $90 or whatever. So they'll use those Facebook pages because there's no service fee because it's just you're buying it from someone.
Yeah.
Bought it from a guy who ended up being a scammer. Mm-hmm. Thought he's a legit person, used his real Facebook. He's legit missus also was chatting to us, and he just never sent them to me and never got our money back, so it was $400 gone.
Was that Dallas?
Dallas,
Texas.
He wasn't. He was. I don't know where. I think he was from New York.
Oh, okay.
And
so you like? He was messaging us like the hours he put in.
Oh, really?
That was probably
how much money was it though?
400, 250 American. So like, not a whole lot to them.
Still, send a couple of messages. Easy 400.
But we pestered him for 4 months.
Yeah.
So you know, it wasn't really worth his thing.
Couldn't he block you?
He's not dumb enough. He was too dumb. He was a nitwit.
Well, he doesn't have to be a nitwit because he gets the money out of you.
Well, he might be a nitwit, but I might be more of a nitwit.
Yeah.
But like I called his dad. His dad blew up at me on the phone telling me I was a scammer. I'm like, hey, your kid's a scammer. So that was fun.
Not raising him right.
Yeah. So that was not a positive experience.
Yeah.
So we got to go to that game. That was unreal. Ended up winning late, so that was good. Shutting up all the loud Americans. That was a couple of chirpy Aussies in the stadium. So that was pretty fun. And then we went from there down through Texas, Austin. Bridget wants to live there. Apparently, real cool hipster town.
Okay.
Do my head in living with hipsters. But then we went to New Orleans. That's a weird kind of a place. You've got the French district, or French Quarter they call it. It's maybe like 10 square blocks.
Yeah.
You go, like it looks, you know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Go outside of that, you've got the ghetto pretty much.
Yeah.
That was one of the nights we didn't sleep in the van.
Oh, because
it was too sketchy.
Yeah.
So we got a hotel room, which was pretty sketchy, but less sketchy than getting shot. So,
that's what you want.
And then after New Orleans, we hightailed it back to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Which was a 3-day drive.
Yeah.
Because Bridget's brother was having a kid, so we got back there for that, and then our parents were coming over, so we stopped there.
How long had you been travelling?
So we left September, Or no, it was August, late August. Got back there
End of November.
So it was a fair chunk on the road.
Yeah.
And then we stayed there.
Did you be in a house?
Yeah. So we stayed there when the family were over.
Yeah.
Built an ice hockey rink. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty much an above ground.
Snapchats that.
Yeah. Pretty much an above ground pool that you just wait till it freezes and you skate on it.
Yeah.
So we started skating. That was like, something to do that not many Aussies get to do.
It's true. Yeah. Novelty.
And then went to Whistler.
Yeah. So how did you get the job in Whistler?
Just online applications. We left it super late. Their season starts in December. You can apply now, and it's we entered June.
Yeah.
We didn't apply until December.
Yeah.
And we were just lucky that they were hiring. Whistler wasn't our first choice. We were trying to get Banff.
Yeah.
We couldn't get it, so we went to Whistler because that place is huge and they're always hiring.
Yeah.
So we got jobs there. Went there in January.
Yeah.
Early Jan. Worked there for 2 months.
So you just scan the tickets.
Yeah, so they've got gates with it's all electronic.
Yeah.
You've got your card, you scan through, and it has a picture of the person and their details. Sometimes the payment details attached to their card don't work.
Oh. So that's why you're there.
That's why we're there, and then we call
How often was that?
Oh, I don't know. You might get 5 an hour on some days though.
Did you ever just be like, I can't fucking go through it?
Yeah, sometimes you just. I don't know if Bridget did that, but a couple of times just couldn't be fucked.
Yeah.
Because we were getting paid $12 an hour.
Yeah.
Minimum wage there, yeah.
The perks of that job?
Free lift pass, which is probably worth at least $1,000.
Yeah.
Some food was 75% off on the mountain.
Yeah, because the mountain's like a village, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's all it's just, you
got
the mountain and then you got all these shops everywhere. And then they're all owned by the same company, aren't they?
Well, so the village is a small town, essentially. You could never leave there.
Yeah, true. Supermarket, everything, yeah.
A lot of the...
Movie theatre,
yeah.
Blah, blah.
There's lots of, like your Quicksilvers and all that stuff there. They're owned by the mountain, but then you got lots of independently owned places, which would be probably struggling there.
IGA, wasn't there? So it's IGA, the supermarket?
There wasn't it was just something it wasn't independent.
Yeah,
it
was something close to IGA. I was like, what?
So that place is just that's huge. That's the biggest ski resort in the world, I think.
Really?
In terms of this, you got
everything
2 mountains side by side. You've been there, the village is crazy.
Yeah, I haven't been to anyone.
Skiable terrain.
Yeah, skiable terrain.
I haven't been to any other ones.
Yeah.
So you work there, you get paid fucking absolute peanuts.
I think it was about $300 a fortnight that we were clearing.
Sick.
But we weren't there to make money.
Yeah, you were there.
We were there to ski, and that money that we were making covered our rent.
Yeah.
So that was good. We weren't going backwards was the main thing.
Yeah,
we were just sort of, plateauing.
So then you lived with
2 guys.
Yeah,
it was a big house. It was the next town out. Yeah. Whistler is probably one of the hardest places to get accommodation.
Yeah.
And they charge through the roof.
Yeah.
You'd pay $1,000 a month for a bed in a shared room.
Yeah. Which is...
You might share that room with 4 people.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So we stayed in the next town for $900. We had a private room in a big house.
Yeah.
A couple of good blokes.
Yeah.
One was a borderline alco, I think. We found him passed out.
Hopefully he's listening to the podcast.
We found him passed out on the floor 3 times.
Excellent.
Watching hockey once, he just dozed off. Yeah.
Likes a drink.
But they were really good guys, yeah. If we went back over, we'd definitely hit them up if we were in that area.
Yeah, what's going on, drunkie? So you did that, then Corona struck.
Yeah, so we were working, and I remember saying to people, it's in China, mate. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine here. It's not going to affect us at all.
Yeah.
One day, we were business as usual, and then they were they shut it all down within... I was at work at 3 o'clock, and it was all fine. Mountain was just normal, nothing. And then 6 o'clock, we're shutting it down for a week to evaluate. 3 days later, it was we're not opening it again.
And they just sent you an email.
Yeah.
Just saying, we're done. We don't know if you leave now.
Yeah, pretty much. It was they were telling, because, you know, I'd say 70% of that place is international.
Yeah.
They were telling people, get home now.
Yeah.
Like, you should leave now.
And the government was also
yeah.
So you fly back into Australia. So you're done with... You still got your visa until when?
July 2021.
So you came home because of COVID.
Yeah.
You fly back into Sydney.
We were trying to... You know, we had a connecting flight to Melbourne. Weren't allowed to get that. We...
Because you had to quarantine.
Quarantine for 2 weeks in a hotel room, looking over bloody Darling Harbour.
Yeah.
Like right on
so
the harbour.
Good hotel.
$300-$400 a night, you pay that.
The good thing is, if you guys are stuck with each other, you used to be in a van. You were practically spacious. Touching each other. Now you had a fucking hotel room.
The bedroom was our van. Like,
yeah.
If we there were times we were going a bit stir crazy in the van. I'd sit in the front and Bridget would be on the bed. Yeah. Literally 2 meters from each other. And I'm essentially...
You're fucking breathing!
Yeah, like I'm in the kitchen. I'll just go to the living room and...
Yeah.
You know, it's 2 meters away.
Yeah.
But yeah, like... And I'm fine with not doing much for, you know, a couple of weeks. I was loving it. Just taking 10 a.m. naps.
Yeah.
So wake up at 8. Well, might as well sleep.
So then you got out of quarantine for being away for how long? A year?
No, it wasn't quite. It's probably 9 months.
Yeah.
July to March.
Yeah.
Which would be 9 months.
And now you...
Yeah. And that quarantine was weird. You had army blokes at the doors. You couldn't leave.
Yeah. What was it? $90
$90 a day each, which was pretty much just enough for 3 meals because it's all overpriced, like hotel food. So
$30 or whatever.
But yeah.
And then you just came back to Victoria, got a job plumbing, and you're literally just waiting to get the word so you can go back because your van's in Winnipeg.
That's the pipe dream, is go back. I'm hell-bent on going back.
Well, when we can.
And like it doesn't, like a lot of the stuff we're seeing, it's like, you know, travel not till 2021, but that's just for like tourists. It's not for people wanting to go back there and live.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want to do. I'm getting a bit of pushback from the families on both sides because I want to get permanent residency and be there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But as soon as you're
able to, you will.
I want to.
Realistically.
Whether or not that happens.
Yeah.
It might just be an unrealistic goal, but yeah, we came back with the thought of going back over.
I mean, you got the van, everything's set up there. Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy for you to just go back and do the last part of your trip and I assume you still have the coin in the bank. Yeah,
and that's it. We were going to come home because we had a couple of weddings to go to.
Yeah.
So we were planning on coming home at some stage, just not for 8 months.
Yeah.
Which sort of sucks, but, you know, in terms of being affected by COVID, we're on the low end, you know. So lots of people a lot worse off than us. So, you know, I complain because I like to complain, but it's like, it's hard to because, you know, you see a lot of the other shit going on.
Yeah, you're pretty fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's covered the podcast.
Life of Matt, pretty much.
Yeah, Life of Woodsy. Hopefully some of that stuff, if you're looking into travelling, gap year in the army, visas throughout the other countries and stuff, hopefully that answered a lot of your questions. If you
How long did we go?
Now 50.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying around. Thank you, Matt. Thank
Hopefully
you, Bridget.
That was worth listening to.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.